Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. It's been far too long, so with that in mind, let's just dive in and let's start off with this tweet here. So, my thought process around this market is pretty clear at this point. So, first and foremost, I have been seeing a lot of comments on most of my videos, most of my Twitter posts, you name it. The big thing that gets mentioned is price. I said, why isn't the price of H-bar moving? Wow, XRP is so bullish that it couldn't even hit $1. This is the comments that I'm seeing, right? These are the big questions or statements. Now, I said, these are the same people that will complain when the price is pumping and they missed their opportunity to buy. Bear markets are not for complaining, it's for preparing and planning for the next cycle. Frustration and impatience is at an all-time high at this point. Keep your mind focused on the truth behind this market. Only 5% of the world is invested in crypto. Interest around this space is basically gone. Institutions are now heavily focused on the space. Look at the recent announcements from the DTCC, SWIFT, the BIS, etc. There is a lot more to focus on right now. While we still have the time until the next big move really starts, patience is so crucial at this moment. And yes, even right now, so I am recording this a little bit ahead of time, so prices are going to most likely change. But as we look at QNT, in the last year, QNT is down almost 10%. Most of this market did great moves during this year. QNT has remained sideways. This is an asset that I continue to invest every single week. I have a weekly buy order on QNT. And the reason for that is because I feel so confident with QNT, long term and even short term, that I really just don't care what the price of QNT is. I am buying anything under $100. Once we hit over $100, listen, will I buy more QNT? It's probably, right? I always say that I won't buy more, but then all of a sudden I end up buying a little bit more. Now, it's not a massive amount that I'm investing in every single week, but it is still a solid amount because I feel so confident accumulating as much as I possibly can around QNT. I do look at QNT as a very valuable long-term asset. I think that this is going to very well be in the high tens of billions of dollars in the next bull run, and it could even be worth, possibly upwards of, $2,000 to $4,000 per QNT, depending on how much hype there is around the space. Because again, I know that utility does matter, but for the most part, hype is a big driver of FOMO, especially around the retail sector. Now, once utility does get tapped in, I do think that that is where a lot changes. But as we look at Quant today, I do think that this is an incredible opportunity, especially around everything that has been happening within the traditional system. Now, I do want to start off with a few things. One, I want to start off with this BIS PDF file. This is the tokenization continuum. Now, this got posted back in April 11th specifically, and this is building upon the BIS's idea around the blueprint for the future monetary system, improving the old, enabling the new. This was actually included in this PDF file. This is from June 20th of this year. Now, mind you, here's where they talk about tokenization. Tokenization of money and assets has great potential, but initiatives to date have taken place in silos without access to central bank money and the foundation of trust it provides. A new type of financial market infrastructure, a unified ledger, could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining central bank money, tokenized deposits, and tokenized assets on a programmable platform. As well as improving existing processes through the seamless integration of transactions, a unified ledger could harness programmability to enable arrangements that are currently not practicable, thereby expanding the universe of possible economic outcomes. Multiple ledgers, each with a specific use case, might coexist interlinked by application programming interfaces, APIs, to ensure interoperability as well as promote financial inclusion and a level playing field. So obviously, listen, as we really kind of look at things here, we know that tokenization is crucial. We know that they are focused heavily on CBDCs, which, listen, if you really want to go in depth on CBDCs, you can. I've talked about it many times on this channel already. But as we do see what they're talking about here, APIs seems like the key thing to focus on. One of the biggest things I've seen here is that they talk about the unified ledger and how it could be reaped by interlinking existing systems through APIs into a network of networks. While such a network of networks would still consist of separate systems and fall short of fully fledged programmability across systems, the worst drawbacks of siloed systems could be mitigated. And when we look at this, right, one of the biggest things that I really kind of look at is what has happened with the Quant network and the BIS, which was, guess what? We seen this back in June as well, which was Quant collaborates with the BIS and the Bank of England on Project Rosalind. Now, mind you, right, this was June 16th. This got posted on June 20th, 4 days later. And this is talking about the blueprint for the future monetary system. And this is all discussing APIs and API use cases around CBDCs, and they're talking about the network of networks. They're talking about tokenizing money and assets, things like that. And it's so funny when we see things like this, because I come to the realization that, listen, they're not going to sit here and tell you exactly what their plans are. You have to really kind of dive deep into the research layer, if you will. They do talk about some innovation hub projects on CBDC and tokenization, stuff like that. They don't really mention Project Rosalind, which is what they are talking about here with Quant. What's funny, though, is that this is all through application programming interfaces and how they could be utilized for central bank digital currency systems, APIs. API plug and play is crucial. APIs will be crucial, and being able to tap into almost any major blockchain and DLT is also another crucial thing as well. Although, yes, we are ushering into a new world of finance and it could be underpinned by CBDCs and things like that, I still believe that DLT, blockchain, digital assets, they're going to be crucial. Now, outside of that, right, we go over here. This is 1 day ago. This is from the BIS. What do you see today? Our general manager, Augustin Carstens, president of the Inter-American Development Bank as well, signed a memorandum of understanding to help countries in Latin America and the Caribbean modernize their financial systems and bring forth deeper financial inclusion. Wow. Why is this a big deal? Well, first off, right, when we look at this, we go all the way back to the Quant network, LAC Chain. LAC Chain is a global alliance led by the IDB Lab, the innovation laboratory of the Inter-American Development Bank. Its mission is to accelerate the development of a regional DLT-based ecosystem with the potential to fully realize the many economic and social inclusion benefits that the technology can offer. This partnership between LAC Chain and Quant uses Overledger for established banking partners to benefit from an interoperable infrastructure for fast, easy cross-border payments and implementing different use cases throughout the region by using tokenized currency. And here you have a BIS post literally tapping in to the IDB, the president of the IDB, talking about how Latin America and the Caribbean can modernize their financial systems to bring forth a deeper financial inclusion. And what are they talking about here? Well, it aims to create, the project is Fuse, by the way, Project Fuse, fully scalable settlement engine, pronounced as Fuse, same sort of way. So it aims to create scalable settlement solutions for financial market infrastructures in 3 dimensions: the number of transactions, the type of assets, and the number of participants in the system. This is something that I've been heavily looking into, right? Because if we look at a lot of these projects and we look at a lot of these innovations, these are literally disrupting the underlying infrastructure. This is so crucial to mention. It will update the existing infrastructure for dealing with the huge demand caused by more firms providing financial services, more people being included in the system, and more services requiring financial transactions. All software developed will be published and made available on an open source basis to the global central bank community, fulfilling the BIS Innovation Hub's mission of developing public goods. And I do love to see this being open source. That's great. I think that is incredible as well. Now, we also do see the joint projects will benefit from the expertise of both institutions as well as from central banks in the region that will be invited to join later, dealing with challenges arising from the digital economy and from people asking for new and improved services requires a collaborative community that promotes a true exchange and building of knowledge to provide secure alternatives to financial services of the highest quality. So this is incredible. And again, this is all through public digital infrastructures. We are seeing things change at a rapid pace here. And this is all centered around the future monetary system, which is they are literally telling you this. This is the blueprint for it. Now, mind you, we also seen Project Sela. This was a big one that I looked over and I did a deep dive on with Ripple, and I kind of tried to talk a little bit how we could possibly see XRP or even Ripple incorporated into this, simply because we know that Ripple has been working with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. But within this, we do see Project Rosalind being mentioned yet again. In addition, Sela complements other BIS Innovation Hub projects on RCBDCs. For example, it builds on the learnings from Project Aurorum. I hope that I'm saying that right. A technical RCBDC study conducted in collaboration with the HKMA that examined the architecture where the central bank operates only the wholesale ledger and the commercial banks operate the retail ledger. Now, within this, we do see the project is also inspired by the innovative RCBDC use cases outlined in Project Rosalind, which focuses on an RCBDC application programming interface API. In addition, Sela aims to extend the CBDC security and resilience framework of Project Polaris to practical learnings. And here you guys have the foundation of existing work and literature. And this is how it all really kind of connects to all of those projects. And they do mention Project Rosalind multiple times, actually. It's definitely interesting. I think it's mentioned about like roughly 6 times here. So yeah, it's 6 times. Again, it's really kind of just building upon the findings there. And even when we look over here, like we know that the BIS has been trying to solve interoperability for a very long time. And even here, like this is a joint report to the G20 by the Bank of International Settlements Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures, which recently actually just collaborated with Ripple. Ripple is joining that committee to work on cross-border payments. And what's funny about this is like, you know, when we look at that Ripple announcement, it really kind of leads me back to Project Sela, which we know, like I said, Ripple has been working with the HKMA for a while on their hypothetical CBDC, the EHKD. Outside of that, right, like we know that Quant can tap in to XRP. Like they could tap into XRP. And when we look at Ripple's cross-border payment solution, yes, it utilizes XRP. I do think that Quant and Ripple are very complementary. I don't really look at these two as competition or anything. Like when you look at Quant's actually being a key player in the adoption aspect of blockchain and DLT. A lot of people look at Quant like as a competitive asset to like Link or something. Like when we look at Link or when we look at Quant, they're very complementary. Like they have their own purpose. It's very similar to like XRP and XLM. But I do think that there's a few players that are already kind of chosen here, and I think that Quant and Ripple are one of them, or at least 2 of them, I should say. When we see everything that is happening around the BIS, there's just no way in my mind, I don't think that Quant is a huge player, right? Like, as we look at what Quant has been doing, and when we look at QNT as a token, like a lot of people think that QNT, just because it's an ERC20 token, that it's useless. First off, it's chain agnostic. A lot of people think that QNT doesn't have any utility, which we've debunked on many occasions. Like there is just no way in my mind that QNT is not a blue chip in the space, and Quant isn't an absolute giant around this new monetary system that's rising. We know that this is rising. We know that this is becoming a reality. We've talked about it. We've gone over this many times. And now we see it being spotlighted, while retail does not care. Like retail is not here at this time. So to me personally, everyone should be looking into what Quant is doing. Everyone should be looking into these experiments, looking into these projects with the BIS, because they are so crucial. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.